Good morning, and welcome to Rasslin Radio. We have a lot of good stuff cooking this week. Some information that's a little bit tragic. We want to start out with that and kind of talk about it a little bit and then kind of end it for the hour. We'd like to dedicate this hour of Rasslin Radio to the complete recovery and return of Magnum TA, who was in a very, very bad car accident just this week. And right now we can only speculate on his condition. We don't know for sure, what the whole thing is all about. We know he's in the hospital. We know he's on the critical list. We're hopefully waiting for a phone call during this hour on an update on his condition. I know that Joel and I share your feelings in how much we miss him and how much we wish him well.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of phone calls at the store, plus last night at the matches, a lot of people were coming up and asking what happened, how it happened, and we do have some of the details. Again, it's kind of sketchy because we keep hearing new stories, but the bottom line was that Magnum was driving to the tapings on Tuesday morning. He was in his Porsche. For whatever reason, it was raining. I don't know how fast he was going. The car hydroplaned. It flipped over 3 or 4 times and rammed into a tree. When it rammed into the tree, for last night we heard that it took almost an hour before any ambulance or anybody got to him. They got to him. It took about an hour to get him out of the car using the jaws of life. They rushed him to the hospital. He was under the blade, in surgery for 6 hours. Part of the accident caused him a broken neck. They had to remove a piece of bone from his pelvis to replace the bone lossage in his neck. As of Friday, he was paralyzed from the neck down, but they don't think it's permanent. They blindfolded him for a test and rubbed a needle up and down his right leg and asked him, did he feel anything? He said, yeah, I feel you doing something on my right leg. They did on his left leg. He felt it again. And last night, Dick Murdoch was telling us in the back that he was able to take his fingers and kind of squeeze. So he's starting to get some feeling back. But right now, it's serious but stable. He's on a respirator. He has a bag in his lung because they're afraid of the lung collapsing. He's just in bad shape.
It's really a shame that, it just goes to show you that no matter what you've got, and here's a man that's got all this money and popularity and prestige and good looks and this and that, and just never know what's going to happen. We sat back and thought about it the other day and thought about just do the best you can with your life and just live every day like it's your last, because you never know when it is. I certainly... and my heart tells me Magnum will never be back to wrestle again. I'd love to see him back again tomorrow. And we hope that things will go well. These things, it's just taken us all completely in shock. We're all just, we just don't even know what to say. But we're going to send him a copy of the tape, and hoping that it'll make him a little bit happier. We know that all your thoughts are with him. If you'd like to send him a card, he's at the. He's in Charlotte, but if you want to send him a card, it might be best if you send it to us at Rasslin Radio in care of WDVT Talk 900, New Market, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19147, or you can send it up to the Squared Circle, Route 1 and 413 in the I-95 Marketplace in Levittown, Pennsylvania 19056. We'll repeat those addresses periodically throughout the hour, and I'm really, really sure that he would love to get your cards and letters and messages, and believe me when I tell you this, no matter how long it takes, he will get whatever we get in the mail to give him.
Yeah, one of the other things, obviously, last night I had a conversation with Dick Murdoch, but he also mentioned that Magnum at some point this week coming up was going to be transferred out of the hospital that he's in down to Miami, where they speculate that he might be in the hospital for as long as 1 year. So sending the cards directly to the hospital, it might be the long way around. The best thing would be to send the cards and letters and whatever to the radio station here or Squared Circle.
Send them to, it might be better that way at this point, because we can take them to the Civic Center, give them to the other guys that will see him. We can send them right out to Jim Crockett as well. God willing, somewhere down the road, if he's going to be in the hospital for a year, as he gets better, maybe we'll all take a trip out there and see him,
sure.
And, we'll take them all with us. But again, I'm just going to go through those addresses quickly. WDVT Talk 900, Rasslin Radio, Newmarket, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19147, or the Squared Circle, Route 1 and 413, and the I-95 Marketplace, Levittown, Pennsylvania, 19056. Our numbers to call in today are Pennsylvania, 238-3900, in New Jersey, 541-3900. Right now, we're going to go on a little bit of a better note. We're going to talk about the World Wrestling Federation, the WWF. We have stuff to talk about from last night. We have some results, and both cards did go on. That wasn't supposed to happen according to what we were told, but from what we understand, the laws, somebody says the laws have changed, somebody says they haven't, but if I'm not mistaken, sometime in December, I think it is, they might be going head-to-head again.
Yeah. I had a excuse me, I had a conversation with one of the commissioners this past week. He claims that the statute about the 25-mile radius where you could not hold more than one card within a 25-mile zone was eliminated over 4 years ago. And if that's the case, then matches like last night, and where you have two in the same town, same night, might continue to go on. But our understanding, I don't know what the December date was. I think it was the 15th. But on the 15th of December, both cards were back the same day. One thing I just want to add about Magnum TA, and then we'll go on. On a positive note, Ric Flair, who is the world champion in the NWA and many regard as probably the best wrestler in the world today, once had a broken back. So hopefully that's a positive sign. Magnum's a strong kid. He should make it back. We certainly hope so.
Sure, and with all of our support, I really don't see why he wouldn't. Okay, last night's results. Hulk Hogan beat Paul Orndorff. Hillbilly Jim beat Mr. Fuji in the tuxedo match. Savage beat Honky Tonk Man, and Harley Race wasn't there, so Pedro Morales took his place, and he beat Steve Lombardi. We don't have too much else on that right now. The next show is going to be November the 8th. From what we understand, Orton is going to be fighting Piper because of the result of the pit last night that was live, and Savage is going to be going against Steamboat. Any of you who have any more information on last night's show or anything that we haven't said or can add to it, you can call us at 238-3900 in Pennsylvania. In New Jersey, 541-3900. And you're on Talk 900. We are Rasslin Radio, WDVT, Philadelphia.
I want to see Savage and Steamboat.
That's going to be great. That's going to be a good match. They're both excellent wrestlers.
Yep.
And if Vince just, puts people together a little bit more who can really wrestle each other, I think we'll have a lot better shows coming up. Okay, Duggan. Let's talk about Jim Duggan. Rumors are flying all over the place. He may be going back to the UWF, we heard. We also heard that probably he was asked to do things that he didn't really want to do. And he also had some other stipulations in his former contract. So he may be going back to the UWF. However, if he decides to stay in the WWF, what we are told is that he will not be appearing, or he will not be anywhere that you'll probably see him, until early November, which is only a couple of weeks away. From what we understand, Vince is just trying to destroy all the opposition. And we wonder, is Steve Williams next?
I'm sure Vince is going to go after him, but I think losing a guy like Jim Duggan is going to hurt Watts' promotion down there. It can only help McMahon, since Duggan happens to be a heck of a worker. We'll see what happens.
Okay, another rumor. Vince is just hitting everybody all over the place. Scott Hall and the Midnight Rockers are supposedly going to be coming to the WWF if they're not already here. And I don't know, Midnight Rockers, Rock and Roll Express, I don't know, maybe he's trying to take something from Crockett also.
Well, I can, knowing the way Vince McMahon markets his people, getting the Midnight Rockers is something that, would probably be exciting. And also with Scott Hall going over, is Stan Spivey and Scott Hall going to get back together again?
Well, I don't know. We're going to talk a little bit about Dan Spivey as we go on. He had some knee surgery. We'll go into that. But I don't know. They're calling Scott Hall Magnum Scott Hall in some of the areas.
They'll
so
drop
maybe,
that real quick now.
Yeah, either that or, while knowing Vince, they may not drop it real fast. He may pick him up as the equivalent to the Crockett's Magnum. The Midnight Rockers, of course, as the equivalent to the Rock and Roll Express. But from what we also understand is Adrian Adonis is gone. Definitely gone. But the big question is, where did he go, and who will want him now?
Yeah, well, the rumors that we have is that he's going to wind up in Japan somewhere, because it seems that Watson and Crockett really don't want to bother with him. We haven't heard anything about him working any independent cards, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But like we talked about 2-3 weeks ago, he is definitely done with Titan.
That's right. And we also have some updates on some commercials that the WWF wrestlers are doing. The World Wrestling Federation has John Studd, King Kong Bundy, and Hillbilly Jim in a Chevrolet commercial. They kind of all wrestle each other in the back of a pickup truck. And look in the future for a Rubik's Cube commercial. featuring Randy Savage. From what we understand, he's going to be getting a whole lot of publicity on that one.
Can you picture these big arms trying to figure out how to do this little
No.
puzzle?
No, there's a lot of things I can't picture those big arms doing. But we will be back to you in a minute. Okay, we're on Talk 900, WDVT. We're Rasslin Radio. I'm Carmela. I'm here with my partner, Joel, and we're talking about the World Wrestling Federation. As I said, Danny Spivey had knee surgery. He's out of commission for a while. S.D. Jones has been filling in for him. From what we understand, the knee surgery that he had was not real bad, so he'll be coming back soon. S.D. Jones seems to be doing pretty good for him, so we'll kind of wait and see what happens. Let's go and talk to Serge. Serge, are you there? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, Serge, what's up?
Good afternoon.
Hi, how you doing?
All right, how you feeling?
Okay, good. You're on Talk 900. What's your question for us
good.
today?
Okay, my question, is about the match with J.J. Dillon and Dusty Rhodes.
Okay.
Now, I was wondering, first of all, I was very upset over that decision, having J.J. Dillon wrestle Dusty Rhodes, whereas people like Manny Fernandez and gorgeous Jimmy Garvin should have been given that title shot. I was wondering what's up with that.
I agree with you.
Right.
I just think that when Tully was unavailable, as you know, these guys train for matches.
Right.
Obviously, Tully and JJ were viewing the films on Dusty and doing what they had to do to get ready for the match. And JJ felt that since Tully had an agreement, which is obviously through Tully Blanchard Enterprises, that JJ would fulfill the requirement, which he tried to do, and he failed. But I would agree with you. I think they could have had a better challenger.
Well, Joel, that was the most disgusting match I've seen in my wrestling career as far as following wrestling. That was disgrace.
Yeah, that was only a couple minutes long, too. I didn't get to see the match, but...
you didn't see nothing.
I didn't miss anything, huh?
He put him in a figure 4 leg lock, and before you know it, then he attacked... Another thing I did not like that Dusty Rhodes did, he attacked Tully Blanchard, but Tully could not do anything.
Interesting.
He just went after Tully like a wild man.
That feud hasn't ended yet.
No, they're probably going to really go into that at Starrcade, I would say.
That's building for Starrcade.
So let's wait and see what happens, Serge, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Frank from Northeast.
Yeah, I got a question for Joel.
What?
Joel, last week I asked a question about Glow, professional wrestling, and you said that was not representative of what you thought professional wrestling is. My segue question then is, what is the relevance of a tuxedo match in professional wrestling, or is this another example of Vince McMahon using dramatic license to embellish his product and take advantage of the many wrestling fans that do not understand a wrist lock from a wristwatch?
Yes.
That's it. You just answered your own question.
How's that for you? Now, again, the promoters always do things a little differently. Even Crockett, if you remember at the last Starrcade, had Miss Atlanta Lively come out in a dress, and the Midnight Express came out in tuxedos, and it's just something to jazz it up a little bit, but Vince is now running every city, has a tuxedo match. I just want to know who is Hillbilly Jim's tailor. That's all I want to know, because the guy is big, and they don't make tuxes that big very often. But you're right. I agree with you.
Thank you.
All right,
You got
thank
it.
you. Bye-bye. Eric from the Northeast, you have a question.
Yeah, hi,
on
Carl.
Talk 900. Hi, how are you?
Pretty good. About 2 weeks ago, I heard that Buddy Landell was missing from wrestling, and last night I saw him on UWF. So I want to know what's happening, and I'd also like to wish Madam TA a speedy recovery.
Well, we thank you for your wishes to Magnum, and we know that he'll thank you, too. What happened to Buddy Landell is that he left the NWA and took a small hiatus, and he's now in the UWF. Last night he signed a contract. It was on television. And that's where he is. I guess somebody found him from wherever he went and brought him home.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you. Let's talk to Mark from Cherry Hill.
This is about Piper's Pit yesterday.
Okay.
Jimmy Hart brought out a Red Demon, his bodyguard.
Uh-huh.
Do you know who it was?
Jimmy Hart has a bodyguard?
A red demon? No, we don't know what his name is right now, but I'm glad you brought that point up. Because
said it was Steve Lombardi.
it might have been. Steve Lombardi has worn the mask to come out with Kamala already, and Danny Davis has worn a mask to be Mr. X. So I don't know, but as soon as we find out, we'll announce it on the air for you, okay?
I walked up real close. I looked at Lombardi's eyes. It didn't look like him.
No? All right. Well, thanks for your phone call, and we'll find out and let you know.
We'll get our sources on it. We'll get a Red Demon?
Okay. Wow. Sean from Kensington, you have a question.
Yeah, I'd like to know if the Road Warriors are coming back to the NWA.
Yeah, they're coming back. They're in Japan right now. They'll be coming back probably within the next couple of weeks. And what they're doing is, we had once said before, they're not contracted to any specific alliance like some of the other wrestlers are. They prefer wrestling in the NWA at this point, but that does not mean that they're not doing independent shows. They are doing independent shows here and there, and, we'll just kind of wait and see what happens, but they are booking.
Yeah, in fact, let me just add one thing. Tomorrow night in Japan, the Road Warriors are fighting the Funks, Dory and Terry, tomorrow night in Japan. So, yeah, they will be back. In fact, they're already booked into Baltimore for the November 29th card. We don't know when, or November 27th, 28th, whatever it is. So they're going to be back, and they never left the NWA. They just took a little trip to Japan.
Are they going to get the Midnight Express?
Yeah, well, the word is that they're going to fight the Midnight Express at Starrcade.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's talk to Rob in Langhorne. You're on Talk 900.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
First, I'd like to wish that Magnum gets better soon. And
Ditto.
What?
Ditto.
That means us too.
Us too.
Yeah. And first, I'd like to know, who do you think can beat Randy Savage for the belt?
Ricky Steamboat.
Yep.
Ricky Steamboat?
Ditto again.
Yep, ditto. Yeah, so we'll see you at the next Spectrum show.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thank you.
That's going to be a heck of a match. I'm going to go to that one. I haven't been down to Spectrum for a while. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, we might do that too, okay? We're talking to John.
Yeah. I heard the question just then about the...
Okay, you had the red mask thing. Yeah, okay, we're going to find out about that and get back to you, okay?
Yeah, okay.
All right, thank you.
It looked like Orton.
All right.
Look like Orton?
Yeah, you know how Orton always stands with his arms crossed?
Yeah.
He had Orton's rope. He stood there with his arms crossed with that same stance.
Wow.
And then when Orton ran out to save Piper, his hair was all matted down like he'd been wearing a mask.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, let's go back to the World Wrestling Federation for a little bit. Danny Davis, who is the referee, seems to be getting a lot of publicity as a heel referee. He also wrestles as Mr. X. It seems as though they're building him up for something. From what we understand, Jesse Ventura seems to defend him a lot during the interviews or during his matches where Vince and Bruno cut him down. Could there be a tag team brewing for WrestleMania 3?
Uh-oh.
I doubt it, but you never know with Vince. Okay, Titan seems to be knocking hard on the doors of Rock and Roll Express. He was supposedly going after Magnum TA. He went after Jim Duggan, supposedly after Dr. Death, Steve Williams. So wait and see. It just seems like Titan is just going after a lot of the main guys in a lot of the other federations just to knock them down.
You know, I can see McMahon trying to get the Rock and Roll Express when Robert got hurt. Obviously decided not to go after them, went and got the Midnight Rockers instead.
That's probably what happened. Okay, Hulk and Orndorff matches seem to be losing popularity already. Their first time showing all over was a big crowd pleaser, but now it seems like they're really losing a lot. They're drawing very small crowds in a lot of the areas where they had drawn bigger ones.
Yeah, in Philadelphia last night, they almost had a sellout.
That's right. Now,
Exception to the rule.
Yep. Well, that's Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Wait to hear this. The Bulldogs have no more Albano, okay? So here, from what we understand, they now have a Bulldog as a manager.
Now, how does Captain Lou feel about that?
I don't know.
You ought to see this little Bulldog. It's no more than 6 inches off the ground. Just kind of walks out with them.
Yeah, most Bulldogs are only.
Except the Bulldog we're going to talk about for Whatever Happened To.
That's right. That's right. He's not only 6 inches off the ground. Segway. Oh, my God. Okay, Alan, we're on Talk 900.
Yes, I'd like to know where Ricky the Dragon Steamboat got his crocodile from.
Where Ricky got his crocodile from? Probably a zoo. Or probably a pet store. Somebody must have had one. You know, I don't know.
I got a simple question. Who cares?
I think that Vince McMahon's making fun of all of us, making us believe that that's a dragon. If I think that's his thing, I think his federation sucks.
You got it.
Okay.
Thank you for your opinion.
Leslie from Philadelphia.
Hi, how you doing this afternoon?
All right, you're on Talk 900. What's your question?
Great. Well, first of all, I'd like to wish Magnum, speedy recovery as everybody else in the area
Thank
does.
you.
And also, I'm wondering if you think that Rick Martel will go bad now, being Dino Bravo's in the WWF and went bad by signing with Johnny V. And do you think there's a possibility of them tagging up again?
I don't know. I don't see Rick Martel turning bad. I can see Dino Bravo going bad before Rick Martel. He just doesn't have that personality. I don't know. Maybe that'll wind up being a good match, though, if they do fight against each other.
That's what I thought. I'd like to see them tag again, too, though.
You know what's amazing to me? How someone can wrestle and manage under the name of Johnny Valiant for 15 years, and then all of a sudden change it to Johnny V.
Johnny V.
And now nobody calls him Valiant anymore.
Yeah, but that's the incredible thing is the people will call him what you want him to call him.
People will buy that in a second.
Their poor mother. That's all I keep saying.
Okay, thank you, Leslie.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bringing up a point like that, it's incredible. People call up and say, why does Vince McMahon do this? Why is he playing with our heads? Why is he treating us like fools? Why this, why that? Well, the bottom line is the majority of the people will appreciate or will follow whatever Vince or anybody else wants them to follow. So, I mean, you know, the ball's in your court out there. If you guys don't like what he's doing or you think he's making a fool out of you or insulting your intelligence, then don't go or let him know what's going on, you know, and see what happens at that point, because he's only going to keep on doing what you're going to pay to go see.
Haku Tamu.
That's right. I mean, God, if he came out and said, don't call Hulk Hogan anymore, we're going to call him HH. You know, everybody will wind up calling him HH because that's what they want him to, you know, and I think it's just weird.
But then what would they call Hercules Hernandez?
HERC. Herc. Okay. Tom from the Northeast.
Yes, there's going to be a WWF Tag Team Battle Royal in Madison Square Garden this Monday the 20th.
Yeah.
I'd like to know if you can get the results for that for next week's show.
Sure thing.
Certainly can. We have a satellite dish, and we should be able to get them, and we'll have the results for you on next week's show, okay?
That's great. And I do know some of the matches that are going to be on the 8th of November.
You know some of the matches?
Yes.
Go ahead.
You know 4 of them? Go ahead. What are they?
Okay, one is George Steele versus Harley Race.
Okay.
The Hart Foundation versus the Islanders. Get this one, Mike Rotundo versus King Kong Bundy.
Oh.
And Danny Spivey will be returning. I'm not sure who he's wrestling.
Good.
I have a question for you. You were at the Spectrum last night?
Yes.
Why did you attend the Spectrum versus going to the Civic Center?
Well, first of all, I never went to the Civic Center before, and Spectrum just seemed to be really good shows. Plus, I wanted to see that Piper's Pit.
And I was always curious. We talked a little bit about this the last couple of weeks. The Spectrum show will be on Prism next Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And in a town where you have both shows the same night, if you go to the Civic Center, you'll get to see both shows within a period of 8 days anyway, versus going to the Spectrum and missing the entire Civic Center show.
Yeah, you were there last night. What happened on the pit that was so...
Well, first of all, just Jimmy Hart was giving him a hard time. He tied him up. Some maniac from the crowd ran in, made a comment with Piper. He played along with it. And then this Red Demon came out, and Piper made a mess of him.
Mm-hmm.
He ran back into the dressing rooms, and there's no way that Orton could have changed that fast because he had so much stuff on. So, and right after that, Orton came out.
This is the mystery of the week now.
No, you know who I think it was? I think they just ran out of guys. Being the Harley Race didn't show up. They were one man short. So I think they put that honky-tonk man in that outfit. He really looked like him by his build.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, well, thank you very much for your phone call. We appreciate your results.
Okay.
Okay. All right, the Squared Circle, the only professional wrestling store in the country. We are located at I-95 Marketplace, where Routes 1, 413, and I-95 meet. Our store hours are Thursday 12 to 9, Friday 10 to 10, Saturday 10 to 9, Sunday 10 to 6. Amongst all of the other things we have in the store, we also have magazines, books, T-shirts, pajamas, school supplies, glasses, toys, dolls, videotapes, kites, hats, bandanas, pins, puzzles. We have in stock now the 1987 wrestling calendars, but we don't have too many of them left, so if you want them, you have to come up and get them soon. We have ticket information for events in Philadelphia and throughout the country. It's your one-stop shop for all your wrestling needs. We have the latest in wrestling information available. However, we prefer that you listen to it at Rasslin Radio because that's why we're here. We have the videotapes of the wrestling going on all weekend long. We have videotapes from all over the world. And come up there and meet with myself, Joel, and my husband, Paul. Our phone number is 750-0269. That's 215 area code 750-0269. We're located at the I-95 Marketplace at Routes 1 and 413 in Levittown, Pennsylvania. Also where I-95 meets. It's not that far away. Our hours, as I said, are Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Please come in and check us out. We got all kinds of stuff up there. Okay, now let's go into another phone call. Richard. We're not talking to Richard.
So much for Richard.
Okay, Brian from Glen Olden.
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Okay.
The Mid-Atlantic title, okay? I thought the Mid-Atlantic states were New York and Pennsylvania and Delaware, and it can't be defended in Pennsylvania. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Whoa, step back.
Yeah, you want to run that
First
again?
of all, you talking about the Mid-Atlantic and the NWA?
Yeah.
Mid-Atlantic and the NWA really didn't include Pennsylvania and New York. It went from Maryland south.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. In real life, if you look at a map, the Mid-Atlantic states are Pennsylvania and New York.
This is professional wrestling. This isn't real life.
Yeah, but don't forget, if they defend the Mid-Atlantic title in another area, they really can do that because the person who wins the belt at that point would have to go back to that area to defend it again or to keep it in that area. But you can defend a title in another area.
Oh, all right. What about that Valley Forge card? Do you have any matches yet?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I just want you to keep on listening. We have a few more phone calls, all right?
Okay,
thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. Matthew, Talk 900 from Trenton. Can I help you?
I like 98. Wait.
Okay, you're going to have to ask me quick because then I'll have to cut you off.
All right, we're back.
Okay,
all right,
we'll
we
call
appreciate
back,
the
hon.
comments about
Thank
Magnum.
You. Okay, Mark from Cherry Hill.
Do you know if Roddy Piper ever tagged up with Dusty Rhodes for the belt?
But did Roddy Piper ever tag up with Dusty Rhodes for the belt?
Huh, I don't think so.
No, not to our knowledge.
Calling twice in one day, huh?
Yeah, you got through. I can't believe it. All right, thank you. Nope, sorry. Okay, let's go over and see what's happening at Crockett Country.
All right, Crockett Country. Oh, good stuff and bad stuff. Obviously, we mentioned before Buddy Landell is gone. And when you combine that with the fact that Tully has an injured leg, Dusty has an injury, a broken arm, Magnum's in the hospital, Robert Gibson, although he had bad ribs, looked pretty good last night. Crockett's got some trouble, and hopefully, I think we all agree that hopefully he'll kind of rectify all that before Starrcade. But he's got some problems. He's having problems also in Kansas City. The heels out there are Warlord, Bubba, Baby Doll's out there. And they only seem to be drawing in Kansas City when the rest of the NWA goes out there, the Dusty Rhodes, the Ric Flairs, etc. Sam Houston is out there, and it's probably the biggest name they got there, and they're saying that Sam Houston put Buddy Landell out permanently from wrestling, and then a week later he winds up on the UWF, so I don't know how they're going to explain that. Some of our sources about Starrcade coming up on Thanksgiving Day say that Ric Flair is going to fight Ronnie Garvin, and I don't know how exciting a match.
I think it's going to be a really stinky
That's a downer.
match.
That's
yeah,
a downer.
I don't really care for Ronnie Garvin's style at all.
And Rock and Roll Express will take on the Andersons, and those who attended the Civic Center last night saw one heck of a match, and I think that feud's going to continue. The Road Warriors are going to take on the Midnight Express. I'd like to see what Ellering is going to do with Jim Cornette. That should be a good match. And Valiant against Paul Jones, and I think we can all agree that Paul Jones will go bald that night.
Well, it's funny because now it's hair versus hair, but what's happening is it's Paul Jones's hair versus Big Mama's hair. Okay, she is going to be the person at stake here. I saw a thing yesterday on the NWA show where she has dyed her hair strawberry blonde right now, and they did the thing where Jimmy Valiant was sitting in a gutter with a whole bunch of beer cans around him, saying how depressed he was that they cut off his hair on his head, and now they're looking to do it again. And what happens is the station wagon pulls up, and Big Mama, never in my life seen anything that big, walks over to him, and she just picks him one up and says, "Come on," she says, "I'm going to take care of you." And anyway, as it stands, Starrcade will have Big Mama's hair against Paul Jones's hair. However, I still think Paul Jones is going to be the one to lose because I just can't see Big Mama walking around bald and big at the same time.
Paul Jones has been bald so many times, it's got to happen. Anyway, there's some rumors flying that Tommy Rich may be coming into the NWA again. Crockett Country's got some problems. There's no doubt. Even last night, Serge mentioned that they couldn't find a different opponent for Dusty. They're hurting for some talent right now.
Well, what they need to do is to bring somebody in. See, that's the bad thing. We had said about Crockett once before. If God forbid one of the planes ever crashed that the wrestlers were on, he'd have to fold up because almost all the wrestlers are always together.
Yeah, they have a private jet. In fact, last night, except for Dick Murdoch and a couple of the other wrestlers, they all flew back to Charlotte last night because they do the tapings today. If that plane ever goes down, he's out of business.
That's right, and that's really not good because in competing with Titan or the World Wrestling Federation, the National Wrestling Alliance has to understand one thing, that progress is going to keep on going, and you have to keep changing, and you have to keep new faces coming in and things going on because business is business. That's the bottom line. And if something happens to his wrestlers, he's going to have to rack up.
Sure, and also in World Class, Black Bart lost to Kevin Von Erich, so we had a title change down there. Kevin Von Erich, the new champ. Lance is currently in Japan. He's scheduled to be doing a movie soon in Israel and just may not come back, which is another kind of shot to Von Erich. And if Lance goes to Israel, he cannot use the name Lance Von Erich because Von Erich is a trademark name.
That's right.
So he's going to have to go under another name. Bam Bam Bigelow is now called Crusher Yurkov.
Yes. Crusher Yurkov is he's the big guy down there now, and we have a little bit of updates on him. There was something I wanted to say in World Class. In regard to Titan Sports and World Class, if I'm not mistaken, Fritz von Erich has bought out or paid the debts of USA All-Star
USA
Wrestling.
All-Star,
yeah.
which is now folded.
That's right. So that means that he now has access to all the places that they had, TV and otherwise.
They were the one that held the matches every Monday night in Gillies.
That's right.
Okay, so now that Fritz has kind of bought that up, they'll start expanding a little bit and hopefully start competing more with the UWF. Chris Youngblood is now in the world-class area, as well as George Wells. George Wells and Tony Atlas supposedly are down there now as a tag team.
That's right, and George Wells is calling himself Master G. That's going to turn out, I don't know, hopefully real good down there, depending on, what the people want to see. And we're just waiting to see. And let's see what Troy has to say. You're on Talk 900, Troy.
Hi, Carmela.
Hi.
Joe.
How
Joe,
are
you
you?
remember me from last night? I talked to you in the back.
Yes.
Troy.
Yeah.
My question is it true that the Machines is Blackjack Mulligan, the Masked Superstar, and Andre the Giant?
See, now I'll tell
We're not
you
allowed
yes.
to say that
I'll
on
tell
the
you
air.
yes.
Yeah, but then again, I couldn't believe it because the Masked Superstar defeated Lex Luger for the Southern title, and I guess he's back to the area.
No, but then he lost the belt like a week later.
Oh.
All right, but now Masked Superstar is going out to Japan. In fact, you won't see the Machines anywhere because Andre's in England. Masked Superstar is going to Japan, and the whole reason they were going with the Hulk Machine and Piper Machine and Animal Machine is because all the original machines are gone.
Yeah, I think the machine stuff wound up being a bomb.
Yeah, I keep waiting for the washing machine.
Yeah. Okay, thank you,
Okay,
Troy.
thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brian from the Northeast, you're on Talk 900.
Yeah, hi, how you doing?
All right, what's up?
I just wanted to wish Manny TA a good recovery.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, now you say in a match between Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat,
Yes.
Steamboat would win. I disagree.
Okay, you're
I think
entitled
Randy
to your own
Savage has
opinion.
talent, and also he's got Elizabeth out there. Now, if Steamboat starts hitting him,
Somehow I don't think Elizabeth's going to do a whole bunch.
Now, I don't think Steamboat's going to go hitting Elizabeth.
Well,
I don't know who's going to win the match, but I'll tell you something. I never really care what the result is. I just like to watch the action, and those two guys, I think, can put on one heck of a show.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay,
No doubt about
thank
it.
you.
All right.
All right, let's talk to Rob in Overbrook. You're on Talk 900.
Yeah, how you doing?
All right, what's up?
Okay, I had a question about Manny Fernandez. Do you think
Okay.
this whole thing is a setup?
I had said that last week, okay? I don't know. I think...
Because he was, pretty vicious last night. towards the end.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he got extra money. But I think I myself said that it's Starrcade. You never know. He may come to the aid of Jimmy Valiant and just say that he's been kind of building it up and finding out what Paul Jones's angles were so that he could tell Jimmy Valiant and help him out. I don't know. I'm waiting to see what happens with that because
they pulled that Shaska Watley thing.
That's
Maybe
right.
this is,
I'll give you. I kind of agree with Carmela. I didn't agree with her last week. I'll agree with her this week. In fact, one of the fellows that called before, Serge, asked me to go get an autograph from the Raging Bull last night for him, and he signed the autograph, "I'm bad, Raging Bull." So if autographs mean anything, the fact that he's writing that down, I kind of think that the insinuations are there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Rob in Langhorne, you have a question?
Yes, I do. I'd like to know how Vince McMolecule is bringing in the Midnight Rockers when they got the titles in the AWA.
Well, you never know. Money talks.
First of all,
Wait a minute, they don't have
the
them.
Midnight Rockers
That's right.
won the belts, but every taping you've ever seen on
That's right,
television
that's
does not
right.
show you that match.
Yeah.
Rose and Summers are still coming out as the tag team champions, which leads me to believe that this move was coming 6, 8, 10 weeks ago. For all intents and purposes, the match where they won the belts doesn't exist.
Okay, does that answer your question?
Yeah, money talks and the other walks.
That's
You got
right.
it.
Thank you. Mike from Ben Salem, you're on Talk 900.
Yeah, how you doing?
All right, what's your question?
Well, I was also down at the Spectrum last night, and to put my opinion, the Red Demon was Bob Wooten.
It was Bob Orton. How do you know that?
Well, the Red Demon came in, first of all, he filled in for Jimmy Jack Funk,
Okay.
who wasn't there. He came in with Jimmy Hart. He has a Bob Orton build and everything. Piper easily got rid of him. He went back to the locker room. He had about 5 or 6 minutes to change until Bob Orton came into the ring.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to do some research on that this week, and we're going to let you know. That'll be our big question for the week.
That's
we'll
a
let
trivia
you know,
question.
Yeah, next week. Who was the Red Demon? Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, let's talk to Jim in Merchantville. You have a
Hi.
question about Vince McMahon?
Yeah, I was wondering why Vince don't announce backgrounds of people that he gets. Like Slick, for example, he said he has his money, questionably when he was a manager of Bulldog Bob Brower down in the Central States.
Well, the answer that I have to give you on that is because Vince doesn't want anybody to know what their backgrounds are. He didn't announce the background to Hillbilly Jim. He passed him off as a fan in the front row and allowed a quote-unquote fan to run into the ring and help Hulk Hogan. I think if you or I or somebody else had done that, we would have gotten thrown out of the building real fast. So, I mean, he obviously wasn't a fan. He had wrestled as Harley Davidson in Memphis a little while back. We have it on tape. We've had it up at the store already. So, you know, he obviously wants you to believe what he is portraying at the time so that he can improve his motivations. He can push that along and not let you know what has been going on in the
and as
past.
far as Vince is concerned, anything that happens in anything other than the WWF just doesn't count. And most of the fans who listen to this show who are WWF fans back Vince up on that, which I always find very surprising. But, you know, slick as Ken Johnson used to manage Central States doesn't exist because Central States isn't a McMahon territory.
Okay, Jim?
Yeah, thanks. And the Baron did turn good last night on TV.
We called that one, too.
Yeah, I had to tell you about that.
All right, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Bye-bye. And I also want to say thank you to Hillbilly Jim. If you're listening out here anywhere, I couldn't make it to the matches last night, and he called me up just to say, hey. So thank you for that.
All righty. Let's go a little bit to Memphis. As we mentioned before, Tommy Rich is gone, probably going over to the NWA. Jerry Lawler won a Battle Royal, and in the Battle Royal, Jerry Lawler won a 4x4 truck.
I think that was his to begin with.
Probably.
He probably just put it up and said, well, I'm winning that
one. 4x4.
Yeah.
And are you ready for this one, Carmela?
What?
3,000 fans stayed around after the matches to watch Giant Hillbilly, who we all know up here as Uncle Elmer.
Or Stan Frazier.
Or Stan Frazier, Playboy Stan, Plowboy, redo his vows to Miss Joyce.
Isn't that nice?
Isn't that nice?
Isn't that nice? He hasn't even been married that long. I'm married 3 years and we didn't do ours yet.
He's just so big and she's just so kind of little and compact.
Yeah, how about that?
All right, also, just some news from Japan, as we mentioned before, October 20th, which is tomorrow. The Road Warriors are taking on the Funks, which is the undercard. The main event is Ric Flair against Tiger Mask. I was just saying to Paul, how long does it take to get out to Japan? That's going to be one heck of a card. October 30th, 10 days, 11 days from now, Road Warriors are going to fight Ricky Choshu, who's Dave Katz's favorite wrestler, and Yoshika, whatever, for the international tag. These Japanese names are tough. For the international tag
it's Yatsu,
title.
Isn't it?
Yatsu? Okay,
That's
I'll
right.
take that. Yoshika Yatsu for the international tag titles. And Road Warriors won't stay in Japan too long because if they are, they're going to miss Starrcade. And one other thing about Japan, the other day, Inoki pinned Leon Spinks in the 8th round, 1 minute 33 seconds into the 8th round, with a $1 million gate. They had over 11,000 people come to see a boxer versus wrestler.
How about that? That was great. But before we break, I just want to go into one thing. We were told last night, a good friend, Mike, called the store and said that Savannah Jack has gone to be a good guy. He got into an argument with Skandar Akbar. So we're going to wait and see what happens on that, and we will return in just a minute. Okay, Rasslin Radio, Talk 900. We're WDVT Philadelphia. I am Carmela. I'm here with my partner, Joel. My husband, Paul's here, too, but he just sits there and doesn't say anything. He whispers and writes things down and just waves his hands all over and says, you're wrong, you're wrong. Say this, say this. Okay, but he won't get on the air. So I want somebody to call and ask him a question.
One time he got on the air.
He answered it wrong, right? He's been our main source of information for 2 years, and he gets on the air and does the wrong thing. We're going to talk about our wrestling show a little bit right now. Those of you that are on the phone, we have a whole lot of phone calls. Please hold on. Please be patient with us. We're really pushing this hour, but we do want to talk about our November 17th show at the Valley Forge Convention Center.
Yep, Monday night, November 17th. Main event has not been seen up here, I don't think ever. And we went to a lot of headache to get this match booked, which is one of the reasons it's on a Monday evening. But we expect everyone listening to this radio station right now to make certain that they come out to the Valley Forge Convention Center Monday, November 17th. Our main event, it's booked, it's signed, sealed, and delivered. Bruiser Brody taking on Abdul the Butcher.
That is great. We've been kind of pushing that a little bit over the past couple of weeks because we weren't sure as to what was going down. But from what we know now, the contracts have been signed. And once contracts are signed, they're signed. So we're going to let you know some more information about that. You can always call the Squared Circle at 215-750-0269. And what we're trying to do here is we're not trying to be Vince. We're not trying to be Crockett. We're just trying to have a good time. We're trying to bring some of the wrestling that some of the people don't go see to the areas that they can get to. And we're also trying to take a lot of our local wrestlers, like, our Bam Bam Brandies and our Larry Winters and Mike Kaluas and Terry Daniels and S.T. Jones and that type of thing, and show our people what they're all about. You know, you have to take into consideration these younger guys just starting out, and you have to give them a chance, because a lot of times the younger guys put a whole lot more effort into it than the big ones do.
Sure. The tickets are going to go on sale on Friday. They'll be available at Ticketron. They'll be available at the Valley Forge Convention Center. They're obviously going to be available at the Squared Circle. They're going to be available at the Phoenixville Area YMCA. The balance of the card, in addition to Bruiser Brody and Abdul the Butcher, Gary Hart, by the way, will be coming up to be there for the match. We're going to have Wendy Richter defending her belt, her women's championship belt. And while they haven't announced yet who the defendant will be, she'll put the belt on the line. We also have a grudge match. Larry Winters against Private Terry Daniels. If you were at the last card, you saw that feud starting to brew, and that grudge match is going to come to a head. In addition, we have a $5,000 8-man battle royal over the top, which is going to be done at the Valley Forge. We also have a tag team match, and it's a tag team that I guess we can all say was Carmela's idea. We have a tag that we're going to start promoting, Ebony and Ivory.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, we have our Tom Bam Bam Brandy is hooking up with Soul Train Jones. If those of you who were there the last time saw him come out as Apollo Creed from the Rocky movie with smoke and lights and glitter and glamour, and it was really nice. We had a ball, but we think that the two of them together should put their efforts into a match, and they're going to be called Ebony and Ivory. And we want your opinion on that after the show, obviously, you know, on the air, and we're going to let you know what's what. We're also going to be maybe pushing them along the area, making personal appearances like at the Squared Circle and maybe down at the radio station here. So just keep listening to us, and we'll keep you posted.
And they're going to take on a pair from Memphis, Mike Kalua, who's been doing some work down in Memphis, and Johnny Ringo, who's kind of looks like a Black Bart. They'll be up there. And then also we have an old WWF match. We're bringing Ron Shaw back, and we're putting him against Steve King, who's as exciting a wrestler as you've ever seen.
That's right. Steve King has been in the WWF a lot. And again, the WWF, the little guys are little and the big ones are big, and that's just the name of that tune. But Steve King is an excellent wrestler when permitted to be an excellent wrestler. He will be going against Ron Shaw, and I think you'll see a side of Steve King that you have never seen before.
I used to see him do flips and curls
and
twirls
it's incredible.
that are incredible.
Incredible. He can really do a good show.
So we want everyone out there listening. Again, one of the benefits of Rasslin Radio is that we're able to get out to you and let you know about the card. Tickets will go on sale on Friday at the Valley Forge Convention Center, Squared Circle, the Phoenixville Area YMCA, who's co-sponsoring the event with us, and Ticketron. And tickets are $12 and $10, and there are 640 reserved seats, plus we have bleachers in there now, over 1,000 seats of bleachers. So we're going to have an arena set up, and we expect everyone out there listening to be there.
That's right.
Period.
That's right, and that's the name of that tune. Before we go back to the phones, I want to go into the trivia question because we're running low on time. This one's going to stump you, I think. Okay? We've been working on this for a long time. We want to know, what is Randy Savage and Lanny Poffo's father's name? He was a great wrestler in his time, and we want all of you older wrestling fans to put your thinking caps on and tell us, what is Randy Savage and Lanny Poffo's father's name? They obviously both have the same father. We want the answer. We're going to take the 12th caller, and you will get a gift certificate to the Squared Circle. In the meantime, Mark from Cherry Hill, you have a question.
Yes, I heard from a very reliable source that Hulk Hogan's going to lose the belt to Paul Orndorff, and Vince McMahon is going to bring in Sergeant Slaughter to the area and to beat Orndorff. Have you heard anything about that?
All right. Well, as far as Sergeant Slaughter is concerned, that decision right now is going to be made by 12 people in New York. LJN, who has the rights to the WWF dolls, and Hasbro, who has the right to Slaughter's dolls, have to reach an agreement because Vince will not take Slaughter without getting the rights to the dolls. Slaughter wants in, Hasbro doesn't want to let him go, and that's where that one stands.
But I thought that McMahon and Slaughter don't get along that good.
They don't get along, but Corporal Kirschnell isn't working for him, and Slaughter still does sell tickets. In addition to that, in terms of Orndorff and Hogan, good question. I have no idea what's going to happen. And that, they're still fighting. Now they're fighting in cages all over the country. I think you're going to see that one right out for a little bit, but I would tend to agree that Orndorff's going to win.
Are they fighting in New York November 2nd?
Oh, they're fighting every night. In fact, we have a report, October 2nd, they fought in Chicago in the afternoon, and they flew somewhere else and flew Nassau Coliseum and fought there at night.
And arrived there
after
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock, so they're fighting twice a day.
Okay.
They're fighting all over the country.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, we have a few more phone calls that I want to go through quickly, but I'm going to have to ask you to limit your question to only one and do it briefly because we're almost closing and we have a whole lot to do yet. Let's go to Joe in South Philly.
Yes, I was wondering, since the WF is getting more and more wrestlers from many different leagues, like the AWA and NWA, do you think more independent leagues will come to WF like World Class did?
I don't know. The only time will tell on that. It depends on how much money they're offered and what flavors it comes in.
If Vince has his way, he'll have every wrestler in the world.
That's right. Thank you. Brett.
Yeah?
I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Okay, we're talking to Brett.
Okay. I was at the Civic Center last night, and the Andersons walked off with the belts after the Rock and Roll Express won.
Yeah, they were forced to give them back by the commissioner.
Oh.
All right, they did not win the belts. The commissioner stood at the door. In fact, I haven't been back there. And the commissioner forcibly took the belt from Ole, and then Arn had to give his over.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we're talking to Brett. We talked to Brett. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're talking to Steve in the Northeast. Hello, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your question?
I'd like to know if you think Roddy Piper could beat Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yes, I think Roddy Piper could beat Jake the Snake
Be a heck of a
Roberts.
match, though.
It would be a great match. I think they're both excellent wrestlers. Like I said, given the opportunity. But I think Roddy Piper, with just Roddy Piper, can go on forever. I think, in my opinion, he can beat him. Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Magnum's a chump.
Okay. Sorry you feel that way when the man is sick. Kerry from Northeast. Talk 900.
Hello. I would just like to know what the results were of the Jim Crockett's. The
U.S. Tag Tournament?
Yeah, U.S. Tag.
We went over that last week, so we're not going to go into it anymore, only to tell you that the Russians won it.
I know. You said last week you were going to share the whole results.
All right, we're running. I'll tell you what, if we can squeeze it in before the end of the hour, we certainly will. We did bring it with us, but we're running short on time.
Okay, we'll do the best we can, Kerry. Thank you.
Okay. We will try to get it on.
Okay, Mark and Cherry Hill.
Well,
wait a minute. Whoa,
Mark,
whoa,
that's
whoa,
three
whoa,
times.
whoa.
Cut him.
Sorry,
In fact, while we're cutting him, let's just get a couple more pieces of information. In Florida, the Sheepherders defeated Stan Lane and Steve Kern for the U.S. Tag title. Stan Lane was hit with a flagpole. He's said to have possible spinal contusions, and Ron Simmons has been taking his place since the title loss. So the Sheepherders are the new tag team title holders down there. And Barry Windham regained the Florida title from Ron Bass on October 8th in a 2-out-of-3 fall match.
Okay, we have our trivia winner.
All
Let's
right.
talk to Calvin from Ben Salem. What is our answer?
It's Angelo Poffo.
Very good. Okay, I'm going to have to cut you short now. I'm going to put you on hold. We'll get your name and number, and your gift certificate will be up at the squared circle.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
All right, I'm just going to go over briefly again. If you want to send any cards or letters to send best wishes to Magnum, you can send them to WDVT Talk 900, Rasslin Radio, New Market, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19147. Or you can send them out to the Squared Circle at Route 1, 413 in Levittown, Pennsylvania, 19056. We're located in the I-95 marketplace. And I want to just say one thing here, and maybe it's not my place to say it, but I just feel as though I have to. Anybody who can call a radio station and say what the caller just said here about Magnum, who is as close to, God forbid, death as he may ever be, I think is the type of person that he just said Magnum was. I think it stinks. I think it takes guts for somebody to do that when a man is down and out. I'd like to see you do that to his face when he isn't down and out. All right, let's go into whatever happened to. We have a whatever happened to Bulldog Brower. Someone had called here during our first or second week and asked about him. He at one time had held the IWA World Belt. He's famous for a short, quick jab type of a punch they call the Popeye punch. Right now, he had given Bruno Sammartino one of his worst matches. I remember I was just a child going to the matches.
5 years ago.
5 years ago. Some of us have grown up
Oh,
since then.
okay.
Anyway, he had given Bruno one of his toughest matches, and I think it was excellent. I think Brower in his heyday was one of the best. Right now, he is no longer in action. He is retired. He apparently had foot problems from bad circulation. I don't know if he had to have part of his foot removed, or I don't know exactly what he's doing at this point, but he is retired. We wish him all the best, and we're going to go over to Michael in the Northeast. Michael? No?
All right.
Hang it up.
Hello?
Yep.
Michael, I'm sorry. What's your question?
Are the Von Erichs in the future going to the NWA?
No.
Mm-mm. I don't think so. I don't know that they are, and I don't really want them to.
If anything, you
I
might.
read in the magazine that they might go into the NWA.
If anything, you might see him in the WWF before you see him in the NWA, since they're working together. Alrighty.
All right, thank you. Okay, I just want to say a couple of hellos quickly to Carrie, Mandy, and Patrick. Jeannie up at our store told me to say hello to them. She had committed ourselves to saying hello, so we don't want to disappoint anybody if we can help it.
All right, well, since you said hello, last week I was supposed to say hello to my former secretary, Diane, who left and was mad at me because I didn't say goodbye to her. So, Diane, I'm sorry to see you go, but all right, let's continue.
Diane, he said he didn't want to say goodbye to you. Okay. Again, I'm going to give you our numbers quickly. I know we're really shut down for time, but it's 238-3900 in Pennsylvania. New Jersey is 541-3900. Again, the update, we didn't get our phone call in on Magnum TA, but the update on him right now is that he is in serious condition. He's in a hospital in North Carolina. Actually, he's in critical condition. But we know that your wishes are with